40,000 years ago, you are too old to hunt. Your knees are gone, your eyes are failing, you can't carry your own weight. And this morning, your band is moving. If they stay, everyone starves. You cannot keep up. So what did they do with you? Did they leave you behind? For a long time, that is more or less what we assumed. Strip away the pensions and the nursing homes, strip away the doctor, the railing by the stairs, the whole invisible net we built to catch you when your body finally fails. What is left is a cold, open land, a small band carrying everything they own on their backs, and one old man who cannot follow, a world with no room for anyone who slows it down. But then we dug up the bones. And the answer is buried in the ground on 4 different continents. It is not the answer you'd expect. Start in a cave in the mountains of northern Iraq, a place called Shanidar. Deep inside, archaeologists found the skeleton of a Neanderthal man. They nicknamed him Nandy, and when they laid his bones out, they realized this was a man who should not have been able to survive. He was old, genuinely old for his world, probably in his 40s, and he was wrecked. He was blind in one eye, the bone around the socket crushed by an old healed injury. His right arm was withered and useless, the lower half likely gone entirely, amputated or lost decades before he died. He had healed fractures in his legs and feet, an injury that would have left him limping in constant pain. And there's good evidence he was partly deaf. Blind, one-armed, limping, half-deaf, in a world where survival meant running, hunting, climbing, and fighting. And here is the word that changes everything. Healed. All of those injuries had healed, which means he didn't die when they happened. He lived on. For years, maybe decades, years in which he could not hunt, could not feed himself, could not survive one single winter alone. Which means someone fed him. Someone shared their meat with a man who could not catch any. Someone made sure the blind, one-armed old man got up the mountain when the band moved on. Somebody decided he was worth keeping. Go west to a small cave in France, La Chapelle-aux-Saints. Here they found another old Neanderthal, and when they examined his jaw, they noticed something strange. Most of his teeth were gone. Not knocked out, lost long before death, and the bone where the teeth had been had slowly filled in and smoothed over, the way it only does after years without them. Think about what that actually means. This man had almost nothing to chew with. In a world of tough, raw meat and hard roots and gritty wild plants, a toothless mouth is a death sentence. Unless someone else was preparing his food for him, softening it, mashing it, maybe chewing it first and passing it to him. Doing for a frail old man exactly what a parent does for an infant. He was riddled with arthritis. His spine was bent. He could barely stand up straight, and still the group kept him, fed him. And when he finally died, they did not leave him where he fell. They dug a grave and they laid him in it. That's 2 frail old men on 2 different edges of the Ice Age world who by every rule of survival should have been abandoned, and weren't. So maybe, you think, this is a Neanderthal thing, a human thing, something that showed up with big brains and deep feeling. Except it goes back much, much further than that. Go to a hillside in the country of Georgia, a site called Dmanisi. And here, the clock doesn't go back 40,000 years. It goes back 1.77 million years. This is long before Neanderthals, long before us. These were early humans, Homo erectus, some of the first of our ancestors ever to walk out of Africa. Small brains, primitive tools, barely the beginning of what we'd call human. And in the ground at Dmanisi, they found the skull of an old man. Every tooth was gone but one, And just like in France, the jawbone had reabsorbed and healed smooth, meaning he had lived a long time, years, with a nearly empty mouth. A toothless old man, almost 2 million years ago, in a world with no fire we're sure of, no soft-cooked food, no medicine, no safety of any kind. He could not have chewed the tough, raw food his own body needed. On his own, he would have starved in weeks. But he didn't. He lived. Now, be careful here. Hold this one a little loosely. Some scientists argue he could have survived on soft plants and scavenged marrow by himself. The debate is real. But the simplest explanation, the one a lot of researchers keep coming back to, is quietly staggering. Somebody took care of him. Nearly 2 million years ago, before our species existed, before big brains, before language as we know it, a group of early humans looked at a toothless, useless old man and chose not to let him die. If that's true, then compassion isn't something we invented. It's older than we are. And it isn't only about the old. Travel forward again to a farming village in Vietnam, a place called Man Bach, about 4,000 years ago. They found the skeleton of a young man, and his spine and body told a devastating story. He had a condition that had fused his neck and left him almost completely paralyzed from the waist down. He likely could not walk, could not feed himself, could not clean himself, could barely move at all. He was like this from his teenage years, and he lived this way for around 10 more years. 10 years. There is no version of that story where he survived alone. Every single day, for a decade, someone lifted him. Someone fed him by hand. Someone turned him so his skin wouldn't rot, carried him, cleaned him, and sat with him. Not for a week out of pity, for 10 years. In a world with no wheelchairs, no medicine, no hospitals, just other people deciding every morning that his life was worth the enormous work of keeping. So, what did ancient humans do when you were too old to hunt? When you were too broken to walk, too blind to see, too toothless to eat? They carried you. Not always, not everywhere. The world was hard, and sometimes surely there was no choice. But again and again, across hundreds of thousands, even millions of years, on every continent we look, we find the same impossible thing. The blind kept fed, the toothless kept alive, the paralyzed carried for a decade. We tell ourselves that survival of the fittest is the whole story of where we came from, that nature is only teeth and claws, and the strong leaving the weak behind. But that is not what the bones say. The bones say that almost as far back as there were humans at all, there were humans who refused to walk away. And here's the part that's really about you. One day, it will be you. Your knees, your eyes, your hands. One day, you will be the one who can't keep up. And if you are lucky, if you are held inside people who love you, someone will carry you too. That instinct, to not leave your people behind, is not modern, it is not soft, it is not new. It might be the oldest human thing there is. Older than farming, older than cities, older maybe than our species itself. We were never just the animal that hunted. We were always also the animal that carried its old ones home.